Welcome to Monday CNG 132 online. Didn't use my Surface today, just kind of do a voice recording. Um, Go over stuff we did last week in the discussions. Once again, great work at utilizing the lab area. It's exactly what it's designed for, is having issues and then once again using each other as a resource in case I'm doing something else, or it's the weekend, I'm only logging in at certain times, or it's past, I don't know, I do my best to log in again in the afternoon, but usually around 3 o'clock I'm trying to wind up things in the office. Or if it's, I thought I saw a late one here. But anyways, use this as a first response, along with trying to get a hold of me. But like I said, don't just use me. Also be proactive and say, hey, look, I'm having this issue, and point it up here. For the, I want to go back. For the week one discussions, they are spot on. And remember, there's 24 of you, or actually 22 of you. There's a lot of reading for me to do on my end. So I won't be replying to everyone's all the time. So I'll definitely jump in when I see something. It's a hot topic, and reply. But once again, I'm reading everything, just not applying to everything or replying to everything. A lot of case 1.1s, which was the personal attacks. Have you ever been involved in an attack? You know, a lot of, when you take this course, you know, look at it and see how it applies to your life, to your home, your home life, your work life, you know, your personal life. I guess it's home life. But see how this class can change the way you look at the world, because that's what it's about. Personal security, terminology. This class is full of vocabulary. You know, one of the components of this class is a lot of vocabulary and learning vocabulary. About grade of assignments, let's see, there are 36 submissions. I will do my best to start grading things on Mondays, just to give you feedback early with the project submissions. If I do give you a 0, it's not the end of the world. Make sure you turn around and submit what I'm asking for in the feedback and get that into me so I can change your grade. Your grades are never in concrete. You always have the ability to change them, as long as you're willing to put forth that effort. Always read that feedback too. I know I do excellent, good job, but if you do have points missing, I do put in a reason why. I never just leave that blank. I believe this week we talk about social engineering. Week 2, malware and IT threats, social engineering. This is a great chapter. This week we'll actually do extra credit also. When you're out and about, look at ways you're social engineered. It happens a lot when we go to anything that's selling. If you ever went to, I should say, everyone has at least had to go to one place where they're asked to upsize. When you're checking out, have you ever been asked to donate money? You know, that's all social engineering, and that's done at the end of your purchase for a reason. You know, it's sales type of social engineering. When we look at social engineering from a IT perspective, you know, people want to get data from you. How are they going to achieve that? One of the best stories I have for this is last Christmas my wife went to, well, I should say the Christmas before this, she went to the mall, went and had pictures taken with Santa, and then they gave her a USB. You know, from that USB, they told her to go home and plug it into her computer. My computer was up and running, so she just came to me and asked me, hey, plug this into your computer. I need pictures off of it. You know, and simply handing me that USB, I didn't know, I know it wasn't one of mine. I identified it as, foreign object, and I'm not just going to plug this in on my network because I don't know what's on it. So I made a virtual machine, like many of you are now, and I'll go on that further too. That's another subject to pick up on. But I made a virtual machine, identified what's on the USB. Once I saw that it was just plainly PNG files or JPEG files, then I said, okay, there's no additional software on here. Unplug it from the virtual machine, and then plug it into my computer to where I can send her the images now. So with that, look at the activities, discussions, extra credit social engineering. Start posting in there when you see social engineering happening on an IT point. And here's another take you can do from it too. Everybody answers those questions, those 3 questions at the making an account. The security questions that are supposed to be super secret and hard to get the answer from. Doing this exercise will show you that it's very simple to get the answer to these questions. What's your favorite? What was your first animal? What's your mother's maiden name? It's funny because we think these are secure questions, but in all actuality, they're not. Once you start talking to people, see if you can't get at least a few answers from people that have social engineering questions. The dog one is a good question, like what's your favorite? What was your first pet, and what was its name? Those are easy answers to get, because if you see somebody with a dog, simply by walking up to them and petting the dog, you're creating a bond to this person. And then you say, hey, you know what? This is my favorite dog. This is my favorite dog. It was my first pet, and its name was, Chewbacca. That gets that person to respond back and be like, that starts prompting the person to respond back, and perhaps you start getting answers from them that are security question answers. Perhaps, you follow up with like, hey, what was your first dog? And they say, oh, it was a German Shepherd named Riley. Boom, you've knocked out 2 questions in social engineering and that person is unaware that you've even done this. Once again, don't put specifics when you post that. Just put very general things. Let's see. Everyone should have access to On the Hub. On the Hub. Once again, Front Range Community College Google search will bring you to this. Use your school credentials to log in. Mine is glemos@student.edu, and the password I set up. VMware. Once again, Workstation is for Windows users, while Fusion is for Mac users. Make sure your computer is able for hypervisor software enabled, and get these up and running. If you were unable to complete last week's projects, make sure that you did a submission. Every Sunday, turn in everything you have done, and just comment, say, hey, look, I didn't get to this. Still working on this. I'll turn it in by Tuesday next week. As long as you're communicating with me, I'm always willing to work with those points. Simply by not communicating with me, I'll enter a 0 and assume that you're not going to turn that in. But be proactive and say, hey, look, I'm just missing this, or I got stuck on this. And I'll get with you, email you out, and say, hey, let's troubleshoot this. Always stay on that proactive side, though, and let me know what's going on. I think that's good for the first week. For the first video, I'm already reaching my 10-minute mark. The essay prompts should now be up. So clicking on the essay assignments, I missed that one. Should have a prompt like week 1. I believe I got week 1 in there this morning before I was called away. Yeah. So this one says, although I was reading over this, it says 1 article on 1 page. Just make sure that's 2 pages. Once again, max 2 pages. Don't go over 2 pages. If you have any questions, keep emailing me. Don't get frustrated. I know we're still setting up the environment for this course, but we'll definitely reach out to me early this week so we can get you finalized and working on the content before this weekend.